They called her the family's biggest mistake. Too quiet, too plain, too forgettable for any man worth having. So when her two stunning sisters mailed off a husband-wanted letter as a prank, they never imagined what would happen next. The wealthy rancher who opened that envelope didn't want a beauty. He wanted the truth. And the woman they sent to embarrass him would become the love story everyone in that valley still talks about. Stay until the end and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Edith Calloway sat mending her sister's torn hem when she heard them laughing in the next room. Dear, sweet, unfortunate Edith, Opal read aloud from a rancher's newspaper ad seeking a wife of humble looks and gentle nature. We should send him a reply in her name. He'll think he ordered a bride and got sent a scarecrow. Edith froze by the window, humiliation curling in her chest, and underneath it, something else. A small, dangerous flicker of hope. 6 weeks later, the letter came back. Caleb Hartwell, a widowed horse breeder from Montana, had accepted. He'd enclosed train fare and a note that read nothing like her sister's mocking forgery: I am not a romantic man. I do not promise love. What I offer is respect, security, and honesty. The choice is entirely yours. Her father demanded answers. Her sisters demanded she refuse and spare them the consequences. Edith looked at the letter, then at the three of them, and said quietly, I'll go. The room erupted, but for the first time in her life, she wasn't shrinking from their shock, she was standing inside it. Her mother alone tried to stop her. Gently, a marriage with no love in it, is that really enough? Maybe respect is worth more, Edith answered. At least it's real. She left Ohio with a trunk, a journal her mother slipped into her bag, and her grandmother's music box, the only beautiful thing that had ever belonged to her alone. Caleb Hartwell was nothing like she'd braced for, tall, weathered, storm-eyed, studying her on the platform with an intensity that didn't waver even once he saw her plainly. I need someone steady, he said on the ride to his ranch. Not someone beautiful, someone steady. It was the lowest possible bar, and still she worried she might not clear it. They married the next morning, practically like signing a contract. His son, 5-year-old Daniel, took her hand without hesitation. Are you my mama now? Something in her cracked open and rearranged itself around that question. The first months were quiet in careful separate rooms, polite distance, two strangers learning a shared house. Then slowly, something shifted. Caleb started showing her the ranch ledgers instead of locking her out of them. You said you wanted a partner, she told him. Partners share information. He listened. He apologized the first time he ever had to anyone. And when a wealthy neighbor tried to humiliate her at a dinner party, comparing her unfavorably to his late wife, Edith stood up and shut it down herself, without waiting for Caleb to defend her. Most people wouldn't have done that, he said on the ride home. I'm not most people, she said. I spent my whole life being looked at and found wanting. Your neighbors aren't any harder to face than my own sisters. That was the night he started telling her the truth about his guilt over his first wife's death, about the walls he'd built so no one could get close enough to hurt him again. Then stop, Edith told him simply. Choose something else. Choose this. During the season's first real blizzard, snowed in together with the fire burning low, those walls finally came down completely. I'm falling in love with you, Caleb admitted into the dark. Good, Edith whispered back, because I'm falling for you too, and I was terrified you never would. By spring, she was negotiating land deals with the town's shrewdest businessman and outmaneuvering him completely, because he'd made the same mistake everyone always made with her, assuming quiet meant powerless. And that's the part of this story worth keeping, long after you forget the names. The people who try to make you feel small almost never know what they're actually building in you. Every time you survive being underestimated, You learn exactly how people who underestimate you think, which means you see their next move before they make it. Being overlooked isn't a weakness. It's often just an advantage nobody's noticed yet. That Christmas, Caleb wrote her sisters a letter thanking them not kindly for sending him the greatest gift of his life, and reminding them they'd been fools not to see what was standing right in front of them. When her sisters visited that summer, 6 months pregnant and glowing, Edith told them plainly, "I found this life because I stopped trying to be something I wasn't. Once I did, I could finally see what was actually valuable." Her daughter was born the following September, exactly 1 year after the wedding that had started as someone else's cruel joke. They named her after the wife Caleb had lost and the joy he never thought he'd feel again. Years later, the woman nobody wanted had become the woman nobody could imagine losing. Not because her face had changed, because someone had finally looked past it, and in being seen that clearly, she'd learned to see herself the same way. The lesson isn't really about Wyoming or ranches or mail-order brides. It's this: the moments when people decide you're not worth their attention are often the exact moments you're quietly becoming someone they'll never get the chance to underestimate twice.